and this is Mary Bowen. I am the creative director at Industrious Family Films.
And this is Faustina Bowen, the production director. We are a sister team dedicated to bringing you wholesome entertainment.
Today we have the pleasure to interview two other sisters who have many similarities to Faustina and myself. It is an honor to have with us today the Catholic time travel authors, Therese and Rose Marsh.
Hi, how are you guys?
Oh, good. How are you?
We're good.
We're doing very well.
Can you two briefly introduce yourselves to our audience? Just a little rundown of who you are and what you're doing.
Sure. Yeah, so Teresa is the older sister and she's more of an introvert, and I'm the younger sister and I'm more the extrovert. And what we have done is for like years, we would talk out stories that we had a lot of fun talking about, just like crazy things that we would put together just to have fun. And then back like a few years ago, Teresa said, hey, with one of the stories, we should write this down and make this a book. And I'm like, yeah, but then she, it says, okay, well, I'll just do it on my own then. And so she does start doing that. And then I eventually get on board, and then we just start doing it together. And we found that we're better together, like where we would not be as good if we did the books separately. So we definitely found that working together has made us a really much stronger, much better authors than we would be if we were just on our own.
Yes, so we discovered each other's weaknesses and strengths, and we're able to
absolutely
work together on some of those. That's really great. The Marsh authors recently published a time travel novel. It's called Charity versus Tyranny. I have it right here. That we were able to actually read this, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. To help give our audience a little more of a taste of what this story is like, can you share just a few works that inspired this book?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ben-Hur, the book Ben-Hur, and also the book The Robe were very definitely helpful in it. We really liked those books, and so especially The Robe, and that really helped give us ideas for it. And
also the movie Ben-Hur.
Yeah, that helped.
The old Ben-Hur, Charlton Heston Ben-Hur, and also Paul Apostle of Christ.
Oh, that was a huge inspiration.
That was important. Yeah. And there were a bunch of books, but those were probably the main ones. And just in general, ancient Rome type movies and books have intrigued us for years. And also we've watched Ben-Hur from the 50s probably like 10 times, like seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously. So ancient Rome has had an appeal for years. So yeah.
Okay, so like The Robe, the old Ben-Hur, and both books also. So yeah, those are interesting because actually we just watched The Robe for the first time.
Yeah.
We haven't read the book, but Ben-Hur is definitely an old favorite in our house. I actually was the one that reviewed the Marsh Girls' book on our website, and we have a full review in the description below if you would like to read more about the story. Basically, the story is about Nero's fire, except for the twist is that there's 5 time travels from our own time who are brought into this time in history, like 64 AD or whatever the year was. And it's their reactions to the story that we already know. And my question for you girls, though, is what made you choose this time period out of all the time periods you could have chosen in Roman history?
It was one of our many stories that we were making up, and it happened to be during Lent that we started it. And during Lent, we often see movies like Paul Apostle of Christ and Ben-Hur and stuff like that. So we were kind of in that mood, and so then we just wanted to make up a story about time travel, because we'd made up other stories about time travel, but we wanted to do a really good one. And so we're like, well, which time? And then we thought, since we were in sort of a Lenten mood, we chose that time.
Yes. Okay. I can see the connection there. I guess that would make sense if you're kind of feeling penitent,
It's funny because I think we read it during Lent.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like with Lent is sort of our time where we always watch certain religious movies.
Okay.
And like Ben-Hur, for example. And so, so there's like, that's a big connection there. And also another thing was we just sort of went with what sounded cool and fun, because we weren't planning on it being a book at the time. Like it was just, hey, what do you feel like doing a story about? Oh, how about this? Oh, that sounds cool. You know, like that kind of thing. So
Yeah, knowing that,
yeah.
it's interesting to know that you guys shaped the story really well. You know, with that knowledge, you saying this just kind of little bits of story, I'm surprised that you guys were able to wrap it so well in such a beautiful, you know, it comes together really well. It's surprising that it actually came out of you guys' just work, you know, making a story on the impulse. It's interesting. Now I believe you guys are making another novel. You don't need to tell us any more details, but based on that fact, you guys are writing again. I was wondering if you could stay, if you were going to stay in the genre of time travel, or if do you have like other genres you want to explore? Is this story going to be something you've never done before, or are we still going to get more Catholic time travel novels from you guys?
Oh yes, definitely.
More time travel right now. Yes.
We want it to be a big series. You know?
Nice.
And they'll all be time travel then.
Yes. Yeah. For the moment. Yes. We want to move into some other areas. Like we might, like there's not in the too distant future, we would like to move a little into comedy with pulling some crazy, like we've been putting in our newsletters, these crazy stories in segments of like ancient Romans. What if they had modern technology? And like and it's just sort of a comedy fun thing. And we're thinking of like, once we've produced enough of those stories to combine them into one story and just sort of publish it as a sort of a comedy thing as well. But yeah, our main thing right now is going to be time travel for sure.
And I'm so glad you brought up the newsletter, because I want to tell our audience that you need to subscribe to this newsletter. I read it aloud to the whole family every time we've gotten one, and we just love even those little stories about I think you did like a little bit of your family history in the first one, and the technology one I really enjoyed, because it was just
pretty funny.
like watching the ancient characters experiment with the technology and the personalities of the characters coming through your technology. It was interesting. And the different, like the Facebook, I think is what you kind of used for one of the Roman ladies. And it's just interesting because you're also drawing the parallel of that's kind of where our society's going. It's the same problems of the day, except for ancient times versus nowadays sort of thing. But as
right.
Yeah, I think that it's very fair to say that Mary and I can understand the joys and the struggles of working together as sisters on a project. What do you feel like is the best advice that you can give people who also aspire to work together to get something like what you are trying to accomplish done?
Well, I would say, and we both agree totally, we talked about this between you know, the two of us, we've talked about this, is that, you know, you have to really appreciate what the other person can do that you can't do. Like, okay, for example, in our story, Adam Hurd, the actor, he is someone who's a very serious, deep person and everything. Not me, not my personality at all. And like, yeah, I can write that personality, but I can't write as well as my sister because she is an introvert. She is a deeper person. And so pretty much all of Adam's deep thought scenes are all Teresa, pretty much. So, and then on the flip side of that, Ronald Cooper, who's like the old guy, but who's like the multimillionaire rich guy, he's much more of a sanguine choleric and stuff like that, much more like me. And I like wrote more about him and brought out his character more.
Oh, you really did.
And stuff like that. And so
you also brought a lot of comedy.
Right. I also added different comedy parts of the story and stuff. And so Teresa was like, oh, that's so great that you're able to bring that comedy. And then I'm like, well, and it's so great that she's able to bring that depth that I would not have been able to bring to the story. So, you know, I think that's a big thing. You have to appreciate what the other person can do and acknowledge that you're better together. If I was just writing the book, it wouldn't be as deep, and that depth and that real character development, especially that you see in Adam Hurd, would not be there. And then if Teresa had just written it, it would have been much darker. And it's already a dark story. It's already a dark story.
It would have been depressing.
Yeah, it's already somewhat dark because of the fire burning down Rome and the persecution and stuff. But it would have been way darker if I hadn't been there.
I heard it.
Yeah. So Yeah.
Together, you guys discovered that you guys actually balance each other out really well.
Oh
Yes.
Okay, that's
definitely.
amazing. That's really cool. I feel like the four of us have a lot in common and many similar things, experiences and stories even. And I kind of feel like it's due to our upbringing and our education. I even think in our conversations in the past, it's kind of come out that we may even be alumni from the same correspondence school. But my question is, how do you feel that your Catholic formation and your education have influenced your work?
Oh, tremendously. Because like we yeah, the our religion in that we learned in school, and then just from you could say knee high to a grasshopper from mommy and daddy and from the priests and everything, has been really, really important. Because like in the book, one of the things we really want to do in the book is lead people to God and everything, and help people. We want to entertain them, but we also want to provide something that's going to be cool and exciting and fun, but at the same time is going to be like something that's going to help you think about higher things as well. So like, yeah,
Yeah,
very,
for sure.
very much affecting that. Yeah.
So, of course, Therese and Rose Marsh are the names on the cover of the book, but I'm sure there are many people who helped you behind the scenes, so to speak. Who would you say helped you the most with editing and working through the kinks in your writing process?
Our mom. Absolutely. Yeah, she was our right hand, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did a whole ton of editing. What she mainly did is she looked for grammatical errors and even plot flaws and stuff. She wanted it to be our work, but she also if there was any like mistakes, or she'd be saying, "I'm confused about this part. I'm not sure what happened here. Can you make this more clear or whatever?" So and everything. Yeah, she was a great help. You know, and also she was a teacher for 10 years, and then she taught us for 10 years, and so she's very good at critiquing someone else's work, you know.
She
Uh-huh.
does have
Yeah.
personal weaknesses as well, in terms of like, oh no, she left out the so and so again, you know.
Yeah. For me, like writing things, it was always prepositions. It was hard to figure out which
yeah.
preposition I was supposed to use. So yeah, I see what you're saying, where like even just knowing the person well enough to be kind of wary of what they'll probably make a mistake with.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and another person that really helped was Mrs. Susan Peak, who
Oh yeah.
we know you're familiar with, and a lot of people are familiar with, but with her, teen saint novels, and also with her children's books, she's produced, or she's authored like 10, 11 books, something of that nature. It's a lot. And it shows she knew about this stuff. She'd been around the block, and so we knew that she was going to be somebody that could really help. And she lives in our area, she lives in our town, and she was an old friend of our mom's as well. So so we got her involved, and she was, oh, we couldn't have done it without her. Setting up the website, getting the book published, just the whole 9 yards. She was wonderful. So yeah, and so those are just two, but there are other people.
She also
that really
told
help.
us the advantages and disadvantages of self-publishing versus going with a regular
Yes,
publisher.
okay.
And so it was because she gave us the information, and because of what she told us, we did self-publishing. We decided to go with that, and I'm glad we did. I'm glad she told us the advantages and disadvantages of both, so that then we could make a well-informed decision.
Right.
Right. To see the pros and the cons and decide one, but be aware of the not so good things about it. Yeah. That's really
Right.
Yeah, so we're pretty much out of questions, but I was gonna let you guys have a minute or two if you guys have anything you'd like to share or like to say to our audience. Kind of open mic on your end if there's any final comments you guys like to make.
Well, just keep watching the Marsh authors, keep looking at our website, because we're going to keep updating things, and we're going to keep working on new stories and new books and everything. And hopefully this will be something that can really help people to have clean, good entertainment, but that's going to help them, bring them to God, but at the same time they really have a lot of fun with it. And it's a very wide range. It's not just for like teenagers, it's for teenagers through on up to old age. It's everybody in between that. It's not really for children, just because it's more just some of the material is more adult material, like not in a bad way, but just in the sense that like it's going to go over the kids' heads, and some parts are a little violent, so depending on the age, also you might want to use some discretion, with the kids and everything. But yeah, for teenage plus, it's a book that we made it just so that it would not just appeal to the teens, but it would appeal to the older people and the middle-aged people, everybody. So it's
Perfect.
for everybody.
I also want to thank our cover artist, Thomas Hughes. He's a great artist, and he's been he's a friend my mom knew in college, and it's funny, he's an actor. It's funny, but he's known more in our area because he works at a theater or whatever. But yeah, it's been great working with him, because he not only did the cover art, and he's going to do the next one, but he also really helps critique it as well, because he's a well-educated person, and so he knows. Yeah, definitely. He's very good at what he does there. And
good, yeah. So you have a collaborator that not only does your cover art, but is also helping with story structure, I guess. for
Yes. Right. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think we are running out of time, so we're gonna go ahead and sign off. We are talking to the Marsh sisters. Thank you, Therese and Rose, both for joining us. They are the authors of Charity versus Tyranny.
And their book and future books are available on their website. You can purchase their books there, and you can also sign up for their awesome newsletter. It is called marshauthors.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, we give you the Marsh Authors. Thank you for watching. Catch you next time.
Goodbye.